Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host, Mark, and this is the special Whiskey of the Year presentation. That's right, I'm going to present a few whiskeys that I think stand out amongst the other very, very good whiskeys that I've tried this year. Now, before we get into that, first of all, I'm going to start out with an interesting bottle that I found here in Korea. Probably one you may not be able to find unless there is a system where older whiskeys can be sold where you live. There isn't, generally speaking, in Canada. Maybe in Alberta, yes, there is, but for the rest of the provinces, it's very difficult to find a retailer that can sell older stock at prices that reflect its age and rarity. Anyway, so here we have the Glenfiddich Pure Malt Scotch Whiskey. This is the Special Reserve. There's also Special Old Reserve. They may actually be one and the same. I don't really know. I'm not even quite sure exactly when this is from. I think it may be from the 80s, possibly late 80s, maybe earlier. I'm sure that somebody watching may know, so please let me know. We're going to get that poured. This is really interesting, and honestly, if you can somehow find some older single malts to try, please do, because it's a real eye-opener. And we'll go like that. We'll let that sit for a little while. Would there be any old bottle effect? Probably not. It's not that old. The fill level was very good. I'm pretty confident that that's pretty much how it tasted. And I'm going to pour myself a bit of coffee. And I've got a little bit of chocolate. I'm going to take my time and really enjoy myself. Not that I don't all the other reviews. Now, I've just finished recording my 140th review. Unfortunately, those will be aired. I guess that's 136, 7, 8, 9, and 140. Those will come out. Oh dear, you went in the glass. Little fruit fly. Get away. Okay. Those will come out in the new year. I probably had said on camera things like Merry Christmas or whatnot. Oh well, I'll have to edit that out. I simply didn't have the ability, the time to do the editing that was necessary to get them ready for YouTube. Now you may notice that I'm missing the iPad, which was a very easy way to show pictures to you. Now I'm going to start trying actually inserting photos into the video. I think it's going to look a little more professional. And you're coming back again, aren't you? Did I get it? Well, we'll see. A little bit of coffee. Homebrew. Costco Kirkland beans. These ones I think are maybe Costa Rica. Now, I've mentioned that many times. Black coffee is a very good palate neutralizer, as is a bit of dark chocolate. So, anyway, what a year it's been. For the Whiskey Whistle channel, I think I logged about 110, a little less. I've recorded 110 in this year. 4 of them will be aired next week, I guess. So what's that, 106? I think that's pretty good. Nice chocolate. It's getting harder and harder to find good chocolate at reasonable prices these days. This one's slightly on the sweet side, but pretty good. It's from IKEA, in fact. Very nice. A little bit of chocolate, a little bit of coffee. Get the palate ready. Wake up the senses. A little bit of caffeine going through the system always helps. Anyway, now I do hope you had a wonderful holiday, be it Christmas or Hanukkah, or what are some of the other ones? Kwanzaa, Festivus. Now, in the Scotch Addicts Facebook group, which you should join if you do like Scotch, I mentioned that it seems as though the entire Scotch industry has kind of leaned towards the sweet end of flavors, which is understandable. That's a very easy thing for people to enjoy, is a nice sweet flavor. And if you want to win, let's say, cognac drinkers, rum drinkers over to Scotch, you may want to make it a little bit sweet. So as a result, I've got this chocolate stuck up by my teeth now. So as a result, in my mind, after drinking this old Glenfiddich, my first reaction was, what is this? I thought, this isn't real. I've bought a fake. But after nosing it and smelling it for quite a while, I realized, no, this is Glenfiddich. It's got the leathery notes that I'm familiar with. It's got some of the that sort of waxiness that older Glenfiddich seem to have. You're coming for the whiskey, aren't you? Okay, well, I guess I'm not alone here tonight. But what was so surprising is that this is not sweet pretty much at all. There's a tad of sweetness there. But when I smell it, I'm getting leather and peat, a bit of shoe polish, a tiny little bit of cinnamon lurking in there. And I say lurking because it's probably something that's very, very difficult to smell. But once you get past the leather and that waxy liniment type of smell, the polished oak and the wooden libraries, there lies a little bit of cinnamon. There's a hint of fruitiness. You really, really deep. You got to really dig your nose in, though. Anyway, I wanted to start with this one because I really feel that is something that I hope that distillers go back to. Get back to your roots. Get back to your distillery's style. And don't worry about all the dressing. Anyway, it's really more like, in terms of the style, it's more like an Islay whiskey, but without so much peat. The peating is roughly about the level of Springbank, so much higher than Glenfiddich of today. Certainly lower than Islay, but enough that people who love Islay whiskies, Islay Scotch, Islay single malts, however you'd like to name it, could really enjoy this, I think. Yeah, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of apple in there. That's that Speyside character coming through. Oh, anyway, really lovely. It's really interesting to smell. Herbals, all of those, the leathery notes that I mentioned, and so on and so forth. It's really interesting. Let's give it a try. First, I'm going to clear my palate with a bit of water. And bottled at 43%. Now, it comes in sweet, but it really charges your palate with pepper, some saltiness, interestingly. Old wood, burning fires. Old newspapers, paraffin wax candles, birthday candles. Oh, very interesting. All right, back in action here. So that was Glenfiddich pure malt from ages and ages ago. Now, could I drink this every day? Probably not. But I can tell you, the more I drink this, the more I like it. The more I get familiar with the flavor, the more I find it very, very appealing, very attractive. Get a bottle of Glenfiddich 12 today. It's a little bit forgettable. It's very easy to drink, very sweet. It's got a little bit of that leatheriness in it. But the focus is the sweetness. And it's going to get boring pretty quickly. I wonder how many people keep a bottle of Glenfiddich 12 on hand in their home bar all the time. And probably not that many, especially if you are a Scotch whiskey connoisseur. Can I call myself that? Well, I do enjoy it. I certainly don't have the budget that one needs today to get into the 20 plus category, 20-year-old plus category. So anyway, today I'm not going to be featuring anything that is out of reach to the average working guy. I shouldn't say guy. That was a little bit sexist, and I just burped. I'm going to cut that out. Today, I'm going to be showcasing whiskeys. Nothing is older than 20 years. In fact, it's far less than 20 years. And for the Canadian shoppers, there's nothing over $200 Canadian. In fact, nothing over 150, I think. Yeah. For the Americans, the prices today are going to range from about $25 up to about, I think 80 is the most expensive that I'm going to be showcasing today. Did I get you finally? Okay, that's enough shenanigans with that fruit fly. Should I leave that there? I'm going to leave it here. Get rid of that bottle. Is there anything else I want to mention before we get going here? Oh, well, let's hope that prices have reached their maximum. I think they have. And that inflation will catch up, and or we'll see some sales coming up soon, because it's just ridiculous. The way things are now, I would never buy anything 21 years or older at the Canadian prices or the Korean prices. USA, yeah, maybe. The UK, perhaps. You can probably find 21-year-old whiskey for about £100, about probably $115, $120 US. Anyway, okay. Well, let's get on to it, shall we? So the first thing we're going to start out with is non-age stated budget whiskey. The best whiskey under $50, whether you are in Canada, whether you're in Korea, 50,001, whether in the US. In fact, it's actually below 30. So what's that going to be? Tomatin Legacy. It's got a different name in the US market. Same exact box although they've changed the packaging now, so we've got something different there. So there it is, Tomatin Legacy. Let's go ahead and get that one poured. Just a little bit. There will be a review for this one coming very soon. So, why do I like this so much? It really showcases the new make spirit style, and yet it's got enough age that you get something really, really lovely. All right, so a bit of coloring added, but not much. That's certainly not very dark. I'll show you the color for that one. So 43% ABV for Tomatin Legacy, and I'm really sorry that I read the tasting notes from the website from the producer, because it's kind of tainted my mind a little bit, but really this is what I am getting, in fact. So a little bit of marshmallow, a little bit of pineapple, but when you taste it, it's more like a roasted marshmallow, a little bit of tinned pineapple, and a little bit of fresh cream custard. Pretty nice little finish also for such an inexpensive whiskey. Okay, so Tomatin, that's a really short pour. Tomatin Legacy is the WhiskyWhistle 2016 Budget NAS of the year. Put that maybe right there. Okay, let's get on to now the best Splurge NAS of the year here for WhiskyWhistle. And that is, I'll get rid of that one. That is the Macallan edition number 2. This was about 140,000 won here in Korea. I picked it up at a big box store, in fact, and I think it's going to be hard to get here in Korea. I don't think there was that many that came. Hopefully, where you are, you can still hurry and get that. You'll have to hurry because these go pretty quickly. The edition number 1 sold out very quickly, and I think is actually probably auctioning now for much more than its initial price point. So edition number 2, 48%, 48.2% ABV, 96.4 proof. Doesn't say anything about the chill filtration, but I'll tell you, it does get cloudy when you add water to it, so it's likely unchill filtered, but they don't make any mention of it. It's also all natural in color, just like all Macallan. Also not stated on the label. But it's on the website as such, so you can check that out there. So, the Macallan edition number 2. Now, I probably won't have a review of this coming that quickly. Again, it might be the week after next. There we go. Oh. So edition number 2. Pretty dark color. Definitely beyond gold, more into the copper end of things. And this is mostly European oak. It does have some American oak. Okay, so that's edition number 2. Big spicy sherry influence. Pretty big ABV for Macallan, so that's nice. And oh, something a little bit spicy in there, but predominantly you're getting a lot of dark fruits, a lot of red fruits, stewed fruits, but something also herbal is coming through there as well. Okay, let's taste it. Cheers. Now, oh, very, very nice finish. The Macallan edition number 2 kicks the 12-year-old double cask, double barrel, double casks butt. So if you're going to choose between one or the other, I would spend the extra bit of money and get the edition number 2. I quite like it. Very nice. Too bad it's NAS. It'd be nice if there was an age stated on the label. Unfortunately, there isn't. Okay. All right, everybody. Now it's time for the very best whiskey of the year. 12 years old and under with an age statement. And also has to be less than $100 Canadian. And that one is going to go to Kilkerran 12-year-old. It's new this year. This is the first age-stated release from the distillery. This is the Glengyle distillery, owned by the people who own Springbank, in fact. And it's 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, and no added coloring from the Campbellton region. So let's get that opened and we'll get it poured. Okay. And there it is. Very understated label, which is kind of nice, in fact, when you think about the fact that it's a single color, no muss, no fuss. Anyway, 12 years old. It's actually a little bit pricey for a 12-year-old, to be honest, but let's remember it is not exactly high volume, and it also happens to be unchill filtered and all natural in color. Let's get that poured. Whoops. Ooh, a little heavy on the pour there. All right, so let's give that a smell. Now, I don't have time to let that breathe very much, so we'll just go right ahead and give it a whiff. Spicy with vanillas, bit of peat. I think it's got a little bit more peat than the Springbank variety. And, well, it's only double distilled. It isn't 2.5 like Springbank is, or 2.8, or however much you'd like to say it is. Still very fruity, however. Fruity, vanilla, bit of peat. Sounds pretty good. Cheers. Very smoky in your mouth. You can really feel the peat coming through in your mouth, in fact. And yet very maritime. A little bit salty, a little bit briny, a little bit medicinal. However, it's got a nice bit of smoothness, nice bit of sweetness, a little bit of fruit, some vanilla, etc. in there to bring in some very, very good balance. Okay, so Kilkerran 12-year-old. On to the final best whiskey of the year in 2016 for WhiskyWhistle, the WhiskyWhistle 2016 Best Whiskey of the Year. This is in the category of the Splurge age-stated whiskey, 13 to 18 years old, that also has to be under $200. What's that going to be? From the Balvenie, this is the Caribbean Cask. I was very excited about this one. There was a little incentive at the malt shop. I know I mentioned them a lot, and I'll keep mentioning them. There it is. Look at that. Anyway, so this one I picked up at the malt shop. There was a nice little incentive. I got this little Glencairn whiskey glass cover with purchase. It says the Balvenie Distillery Company, Dufftown. Anyway, nice little bit of paraphernalia. Now this is a Caribbean cask, so it's had a finishing happen to it to add some complexity, to add something different to it. And I'm kind of excited about this for a couple of reasons. Traditional whiskey oak casks, so likely butts, and then over to the Caribbean rum casks. Okay, now let's have a look at the color for this one. Hope that's natural. Doesn't say on this this bottle. Anyway. Now that one would do well with quite a little bit of time in the glass, which we don't have, but look at that. Fits just nicely on the Glencairn glass. Probably would also work on a Capita. Anything bigger than that, no, it's not going to work because it's too narrow. Anyway, should I show that to you? Yeah. Bring that close. There it is. Oh, the things that we like. Anyway, classic marketing strategy, right? Give the customer a tiny little gift. Anyway. Very fruity nose. But not just the typical Speyside fruits. It's got lots of tropical fruits. Mango, papaya. Oh, it's interesting. This one's also 43% ABV, so that's nice. Step up from the standard 40. It'd be better if it were 46. Just gonna throw that out there, but we'll take it, won't we? Cheers. It's got a very complex palate. Not just fruit. There's lots going on in there. Quite a long finish also for, well, a relatively young, 14 years old, relatively young whiskey. Oh, it's long. All right. So to conclude the 2016 WhiskyWhistle Whiskey of the Year, there are 4 of them this year. The first is the NAS Save It, the NAS Budget Whiskey Tomatin Legacy. And the second one is the NAS Splurge, the Splurge NAS Whiskey, which is the Macallan Edition number 2. And the best age stated, 12 years old and under, under $100 whiskey is Kilkerran 12-year-old. And finally, the best splurge, age stated 13 to 18 years old, under $200 whiskey is the Balvenie 14-year-old Caribbean cask. All right, anyway, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed that one, Whiskies of the Year. Go out and find these ones. Tell me what you think. If you've got them already, please let me know your thoughts on any of these or what you think are the best Whiskies of the Year for 2016, okay? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You can do that right here, right around there. And we will see you next time in 2017. Happy New Year!